Hello, dear students of the third prep grade, and welcome to a new episode of our program. This is our weekly episode of science, and on this episode, we'll be discussing and explaining lesson 3 of unit 2, radioactivity and nuclear energy, with our teacher of science, Mr. Muhammad Mahmoud, and we'll be receiving your phone calls on our phone number 257-56-187. So if you've got any questions, do give us a call. Now let me welcome our guest, Mr. Muhammad. Hello, Mr. Muhammad, and welcome to the program.
Hello, yes, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad. Let us first begin by defining radioactivity. What is radioactivity, this phenomenon?
Yes. Firstly, hello, dear students, in this episode of Science Third Prep for second term. We have to talk about the radioactivity, and we will know what is meant by radioactivity and the reasons of the radioactivity of any elements. What is meant by radioactivity, firstly, which means the spontaneous phenomenon. Spontaneous phenomenon here, which means تحول يعني أو ظاهرة تلقائية, spontaneous conversion of nuclei. Of what? Nuclei. Here we talk about the nucleus of the atom to achieve stability. To achieve what? Stability. So we want to recognize the definition firstly of radioactivity. Then we will know the reasons of some elements are radioactive, and we will going through the lesson. So firstly, what is meant by radioactivity? As we see in front of you here, we have radioactivity as a definition is the spontaneous conversion of nuclei, and we know nuclei is the plural of nucleus. Nuclei to achieve what? Stability. عشان توصل لمرحلة الاستقرار زي ما بيقولوا achieve the stability. So here we have number one, we want to know the spontaneous conversion of nuclei, okay, to achieve stability. And we will know from first prep, any nucleus contains what? Nucleus or any nuclei contains what, and what we know contains positive protons and neutral what? Neutrons. Neutrons at the same time. So here we have the definition of radioactivity: spontaneous conversion of nuclei to achieve stability. يعني بتتحول لوحدها تلقائيا عشان تستقر. I think Yasser, you can understand completely what is meant by radioactivity as a phenomenon here.
Yeah, sure.
You have any problem in this definition?
I just would like to know who was the person who discovered these unseen rays or radiation.
Radiation, yes. The first scientist who discovered the unseen rays called radiation or nuclear radiation أو الأشعة النووية زي ما بنسميها بالعربي is called Henry Becquerel. The first scientist who discovered the unseen rays coming from or are produced from radioactive elements. But here firstly we should know why these elements are radioactive. As we know in the definition, and we see in the definition, we define as radioactivity as a spontaneous conversion of some nuclei to achieve stability. Okay? طيب. يبقى we have here give reason for. Give reason for. As we see here, give reason for. Some elements are radioactive. Some elements are radioactive. في بعض الاليمنتس بتبقى radioactive, has radioactivity, ليها نشاط إشعاعي. Why? We can answer according to this point. We can answer according to this point. Why? As we see here, dear students, because according to nuclei. The answer coming from nuclei. أقول له because they carry neutrons more than normal limit. Oh, so we can answer according to the number of neutrons is more than normal limit in these radioactive elements. So here we know now these elements carry neutrons in the what? In the nuclei, but these neutrons are more than normal limit. Maybe these elements can carry, for example, any one of them can carry maybe 5 neutrons in its nucleus. صح أقول له but in this case this element carry maybe 20 neutrons in its nucleus. So this element is called radioactive element or has radioactivity phenomenon because they carry what? They carry neutrons more than normal limit. Okay? So now, dear students, we know why these elements are called radioactive elements and why these phenomenon are can't be seen, this radiation at the same time. And we should know first scientist who discovered the unseen rays coming from the radioactive elements, as we have many examples about the radioactive elements here as types of radioactivity. But firstly, we should know the measuring unit of what? Of the absorbed radiation here. Absorbed radiation. As we see, we have measuring unit of potential difference of electron.
Is it the RAM?
RAM, yes, excellent, yes sir. Here we have measuring unit for potential difference for electric current intensity, for example, electric resistance from the previous lesson. And here in this lesson we have no problems, عندناش مسائل, but we should know the measuring unit of the radioactivity or the absorbed radiation is REM, R-E-M, REM. So the measuring unit of the radioactivity or absorbed radiation is called REM. And the first scientist who discovered the unseen rays coming from the radioactive elements is called Henry Becquerel. Henry Becquerel. Okay, here we have types of radioactivity or nuclear energy اللي هي الطاقة النووية بقى. يبقى هقول له types of radioactivity or types of nuclear energy. ممكن اقولها كده ممكن اقولها كده. We have two main types of radioactivity here. Number one is called natural radioactivity. Number two is called artificial. Artificial and natural radioactivity. Number one, natural, we have, for example, radioactive elements. Radioactive elements. Here, radioactive elements. Here as what? As, for example, radium. We have examples, radium, cesium, zirconium, selenium, rubidium are called radioactive elements. Okay, so they are a natural type of radioactivity. And we have cosmic radiation. Cosmic radiation, الأشعة الكونية, radiation are called what? Our radiations are called belongs to the natural radioactivity.
Okay, I have a question here. So give reasons for radioactivity has natural sources and also artificial sources.
We can answer according to this explanation.
Yeah.
We can use this explanation to answer this question. We just answer this question. For example, we have radioactive or natural radioactivity sources as cosmic radiation, الأشعة الكونية, and as radioactive elements اللي هي already elements have or Any one of them has a number of neutrons more than normal limit in its nucleus, as radium, plutonium, rubidium, zirconium. We have many examples here. And at the same time, we have artificial sources of radioactivity or radiation. As we see here, we have artificial sources. For example, number one, nuclear reactions in nuclear reactors. So this artificial radioactivity or radiation is controlled, we can control it by human. And at the same time, we use here as a type of artificial radioactivity. Here we have nuclear bombs, اللي هي القنابل النووية, nuclear bombs. So if we answer this question according to what? According to the types of radioactivity or types of nuclear energy, we can answer according to nuclear energy. We can answer like that and like that. Yeah, and we have two here. We have two classification. عندنا تقسيمتين. We can say types of radioactivity. We have two types, natural or artificial. If we say types of nuclear energy, we have what? We have two types, natural and artificial. Each one of them as we explain in this lesson. Okay, so dear students, now we know the natural sources of radioactivity and we know the artificial sources of radioactivity. How can we, for example, deal or to recognize, for example, the artificial radioactivity? As we see in this video, we can see the explosion. As we see explosion in this video,
Chernobyl.
Like Chernobyl, but here we have to, as we see here in this video, زي ما احنا شايفين, we have a nuclear bomb exploded in a desert area, not in a city or beside any town or governorate. Here we have what? Here we have as artificial source or artificial radioactivity, as we see in this video here again. So we have nuclear bombs from type of artificial radioactivity. Okay, so we have to know the uses here, dear students, to know the uses of radioactivity or safe uses of radiation. Here we will know the safe uses أو الاستخدامات الآمنة زي ما بيسموها, safe uses of radiation or nuclear energy, as we see here. Number one, we can use nuclear energy as in medical fields. Medical field here. Why? For example, treatment of cancer. Treatment of cancer. Number two, as we see here, we can use it in industrial field or electronic field, industrial or electronic field, industrial field. As we know here, we use it to change sand, اللي هو الرمل, into silicon sheets. And we know silicon sheets are used in electronics devices like computer, laptop, mobiles, and so on. Number three, we have other safe use of nuclear energy here, as we use it in agriculture. Agriculture fields. Agriculture field، استخدام في الزراعة. To eliminate which means نتخلص من، eliminate the pests and improve the crops. Improve the crops اللي هو تطوير المحاصيل طبعا. And we have here number 4, for example here, as a use of nuclear energy here in our life, as medical field, industrial field, agriculture field, as in drilling. drilling هنا اللي هي معناها drilling field اللي هو الحفر field. For example here to explore petroleum. We can use the nuclear energy to instead of any other source of energy to drill, to نحفر يعني, to explore the petroleum. We have another field here. We have another field as in space or astronomical field يعني في مجال الفضاء. We can use the nuclear energy here as nuclear fuel in rockets. استخدام الوقود النووي في الصواريخ rockets. So as we see here, we have medical field, we have industrial field, we have agricultural field, we have drilling field, we have a space field. We can use all these, or we can use nuclear energy in all these fields.
Okay, I have a question here.
Okay.
Is it true or false to say that killing cancer cells is from the uses of nuclear energy in the medical field?
You guess what? True or false? I need
Radiation.
Radiation. So radiation is coming from what?
Nuclear energy.
So the answer is
correct.
Yes, you are good. Yes.
Okay.
So here we have one from the uses of safe uses. We have other dangerous uses of nuclear energy, because nuclear energy from the other products from the nuclear energy is radiation as a parallel production from the radioactivity or from the nuclear energy in general. Yeah.
Okay.
So here we have another point in our lesson here. As we see here, we have many uses. But what happens if the man or living organisms are exposed to the radiation? اتعرضنا للإشعاع.
Yeah.
What happens here?
If we can get cured by being exposed
Yes,
to radiation,
we have
so
many.
I guess there is a certain limit, like how
You know the measuring unit.
Yeah.
So measuring unit of absorbed radiation is what? REM. So you can expose every day to radiation coming.
What is the limit?
Maximum 5 REM
5 rem.
every day.
Yeah.
But more than 5 REM you have a problem. لو انت اكتر من 5 REM every day you have a problem.
I'll be radiated.
And we have many other circumstances from this radiation, as cellular change, as physical change, as a genetic change, and we have many
Does
problems.
this have to do when like when we sometimes touch some people, we feel like we get electrified?
You talk here about the static electricity, other field, other lesson.
This is not
Yes,
related.
yes, not related to this. This radiation coming from radioactive elements, or natural or artificial, unseen rays. You can feel with the symptoms, but we can't feel, sense or feel with the direct effect of these radiations. So here we have the يعني dangerous or the most يعني disaster in 20th century القرن العشرين كانت اسمها زي ما احنا عارفين Chernobyl disaster.
Yeah, but before we discuss this disaster, let us receive Mu'taz's call. Hello, Mu'taz, how are you?
How are you?
Okay, Mu'taz, do you have any questions?
No.
You want to be asked? Okay,
No,
try
just Mu'taz.
to get back to us, Mu'taz.
Maybe Mu'taz call us to say hi.
Yeah.
Maybe. So here we have some uses or dangerous uses as Chernobyl disaster, كارثة Chernobyl in 1986. This Chernobyl is an area in Ukraine.
Ukraine, the balance?
Yes, like from the countries of Soviet Union, and in this place or this area as nuclear reactor مفاعل نووي. We have some problems in this reactor. The core of the reactor is melt due to error in the operation. غلط في التشغيل أدى إلى أن قلب المفاعل melt يعني طبعا is melted يعني انصهر. So this reactor is exploded انفجر, and the radiation transfer to the eastern and western of Europe and transfer to the soil by the winds and by the rains. So here we have some questions from the uses of the safe uses of nuclear energy. من استخدامات الآمنة nuclear energy here to for example here use in يعني generating electricity, ان انا اطلع منها كهرباء. By what? We use water to cool down the nuclear reactor, and this water will change into water vapor, and we can use this vapor to operate the turbines. ان احنا نستخدمها في ان احنا نشغل الايه التوربينز اللي هي الداينامو اللي تشينج mechanical energy into electric energy. طيب تعالوا نشوف مع بعض كام give reason كده. Number 1 شوفهم كده مع بعض. Give reason 4. Number 1, Chernobyl disaster. تمام؟ طبعا هنا لو انا سأل لي any question contains a Chernobyl disaster, how can we answer? We can answer according to melting of reactor core due to error in operation. Error in what? Operation. غلط في التشغيل. طيب next question here is what? The radiation our radiations transfer to Europe. يعني راحت أوروبا من Ukraine to Europe. راحت سافرت ازاي؟ أقول له by winds and clouds, then by the rains بالمطرة to the soil. To the what? To the soil. So we have two give reasons here, and we can answer it or them easily.
Okay, and we've got Ahmed on the phone.
Okay, Ahmed.
Hello, Ahmed, how are you?
I am fine, thank you. And you?
I'm fine, thanks. Okay, Ahmed.
Ahmed from our regular students.
Yeah, he always
Every episode call us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ahmed, do you have any questions, or as usual you want to be asked?
Usually want to be asked.
Okay.
Okay. All right. You want to be asked on this lesson?
This lesson or other, it is not a problem.
You're ready for any question. Okay,
Ahmed.
Mr. Muhammad.
Okay, let us to ask you in this question, Ahmed. For example, give reason for, give reason or what happens. You want a type or a special type of question?
He's ready for anything.
Ahmed?
Okay. What about this question?
Okay.
Ahmed, after the Chernobyl accident, radioactive isotopes were found in the food products.
Cesium and iodine isotopes.
No,
Again?
no, no. Asking about that if after Chernobyl disaster, the radiation transferred to the Europe or Eastern and Western of Europe after the Chernobyl disaster.
Okay.
Give
Okay.
reason for.
Give reason for.
Mm.
معلش قولوا تاني يا مستر عشان
After Chernobyl disaster, the radiations transferred to the Eastern and Western of Europe,
And were found in food products.
and they yes. Why?
because after the explosion of the Chernobyl reactor, the melting of the core spread into the sand, and so it distributed, and so it found in the food.
بص يا احمد، لو تبص على المونيتور قدامك، على الشاشه قدامك، بص each one of them you put two answers in one question. Here we have, if you talk about Chernobyl disaster here, okay, we should answer according to what? As you see, melting of reactor core due to the error of operation.
Due to error in operation.
But if you have another question, radiation transfer to the Europe and found in the food products, we have to answer by what? Winds?
By wind and cloud.
Then by rains to the what?
To the soil.
To the soil. So you have two answers here, and not one answer in two answers in one question. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you, Ahmed. You are welcome every time.
Okay.
Anytime.
Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you very much. Okay.
Okay. Here we have to know, as we see, a Chernobyl disaster. But what happens if the man exposed to radiation? Unlimited, as Yasser asked me about the safe use or safe dose of radiation is not more than 5 rem every day. But more than 5 rem, we have two cases here. Each one of them, if you exposed تمام large dosage but short period of time, and if you exposed to small dosage but for a long period of time. يعني عندنا two cases here.
You know the bride of the Mediterranean?
Mediterranean what? For example,
the bride of the Mediterranean Sea. Alexandria.
But as a radiation here?
We've got Islam on the phone from Alexandria.
Yes.
Okay, hello Islam, how are you?
I'm fine.
With radiation?
Yeah.
Islam?
Okay, Islam, you have any questions?
No, I want to be asked.
You want to be asked?
Okay. Islam, for example, as complete?
Okay.
Complete. What scientist discovered the
Henry
Becquerel? Becquerel discovered the unseen rays, and from element is called
uranium.
what? Uranium, yes. So the measuring unit of absorbed radiation is rem, not rem. Rem may be your friend at the school. Here we have another question as types of radioactivity or
natural radioactivity or artificial radioactivity.
Okay, Islam, thank you very much. You are a good student.
But Islam, the nuclei of radioactive elements are unstable. Why?
Good question, yes.
Due to increase the number of neutrons, make it stability.
Yes, but they carry a number of neutrons more than normal limits.
Instability.
Yes, more than normal limits, so they are unstable elements. Excellent, yeah,
Okay.
Islam.
Thank you, Islam. Thank you very much.
We have cases here. عندنا حالات maybe human exposed to large dosage جرعة ضخمة for a short period of time, like movie of Harrison Ford about submarine UV-57 is a movie about true story, قصة حقيقية في الفيلم ده. This if man exposed to large dosage for a short period of time, the radiation will destroy. بصوا هيدمر ايه؟ nervous system, spleen اللي هو الطحال, bone marrow, okay, and digestive system. So we know bone marrow اللي هو نخاع العظم and spleen اللي هو الطحال are responsible for the production of red blood cells, كرات الدم الحمراء. So in this case the human will suffer from nausea and diarrhea، يعني من and vertigo، يعني تلاقيه عنده مش قادر يصلب طول، دايخ مجهد ويقع من طول على طول. Why? Because أو due to the destroying of spleen, nervous system, bone marrow and digestive system.
Nausea, vertigo
and diarrhea.
Diarrhea.
Yes. Yeah. So here we have 3 cases or 3 symptoms here in this case, or in the first case, if we expose or any person exposed to large dosage for a short period of time. So we can classify them 2 times. Okay. Number 1 أو هكتبها أهو، أقول له man exposed.
Of course, man here means any human being.
Yes, which means any human
not
being.
man and woman.
No, yes. Man exposed to a large or huge dosage, but for a short time. وقت صغير. ايه اللي هيحصل له؟ اقول له will suffer from، هيعاني من 1 2 3. Number 1 diarrhea,
nausea and
vertigo and nausea. These 3 symptoms due to what? Due to destroy أو destruction، تدمير، destruction of digestive system, nervous system, and طبعا bone marrow اللي هو نخاع العظم، bone marrow and spleen اللي هو طحال. And we should know bone marrow and spleen both responsible for the production of red blood cells. Production of what? Red blood cells. Bone marrow and spleen. طحال ونخاع العظم. طيب this first case here, our first accident, as you see, man exposed to large dosage for a short period of time. We have diarrhea, vertigo and nausea. So here we have the symptoms, أعراض, and we have reasons of these symptoms. And we have another maybe another case here. In this case we can see number 2, man exposed to a small dosage but for a long time, maybe every day. واحد بيتعرض كل يوم لجرعة صغيرة بس الوقت طويل، يعني maybe every day. أقول له here we have 1 2 and 3. We have number 1 maybe physical change. Okay, we have another phone caller.
Yeah, we've got Mahmoud.
السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام.
أنا بحب أشكر حضرتك فعلا يا مستر ياسر، أنت فعلا مفيدنا كتير والله.
ربنا يخليك يا رب، ألف شكر.
وحابب أشكر برضكم
مستر محمد محمود برضو طبعا، هو يعني أستاذ المادة. شكرا لحضرتك، ألف شكر. أوكي.
طبعا شيء يفرحنا ان الناس بتتابعنا وكده، بس كان نفسي يسألنا في حاجة او كده.
هو يمكن يكون الله أعلم، أنا متوقع إنه ممكن يكون عربي بس حابب يشكرنا.
ممكن. كويس، شيء كويس.
Okay.
We have 3 here, dear students. We have 3 types of change in human as if it exposed to a small dosage for but for a long period of time. يعني اتعرض لجرعات صغيرة بس كل يوم بيتعرض لها. يبقى we have physical change here, we have cellular change, we have as we see genetic change. So here we have number one, physical change. What is meant by physical change? And number two and number three. بيقول لي physical change هقول له number two cellular change, and number three what here we have genetic change.
So is there one thing that joins them together?
No, each one of them has its
like if I ask you, for example, the changes, a scientific term, the changes that take place to the living organism due to its exposure to radiation.
The key of the answer is from the first word. You say what?
The changes that take place. Yeah.
So it's a changes. We can say physical change, genetic change.
So there is not one word for it or one
changes.
term.
We have we can see or can write in the paper any one of them.
But this is scientific term, so
term, but changes. We
Yeah.
can say changes
Yeah.
due to exposure of radiation, but for long period of time and small dosage. We have three changes here: physical and the appearance of human. Maybe in skin, مثلا جلده حصل burn in the skin, appearance only. Cellular change destruction of the red blood cells that carry, or hemoglobin that carry oxygen. And genetic change or destruction or change in the sex chromosomes. And we will study in first secondary في أولى ثانوي. We have sex chromosomes that determine the kind of embryo, نوع الجنين, male or female. So here we have physical change as we see. يبقى هكتب له تحتيها change in appearance. Cellular change يبقى change in cell composition. Like hemoglobin in red blood cells that carry, طبعا الهيموجلوبين carry oxygen. Okay, and we have genetic change here as change in the sex chromosomes. In the what? Sex chromosomes. Okay, so we have here number, as we see, number one, number two, number three. Number one, physical change. Number two, cellular change. Number three, genetic change. Physical change, change in the appearance. Cellular change, it's change in the cell composition. As or like hemoglobin in red blood cells, and hemoglobin carries oxygen.
Yeah, okay, Mr. Muhammad, we'll come back to you, but right after this break. Stay with us. So we're back, dear students of the third prep grade, and Mr. Muhammad, we've got Alia on the phone, so let us see if she's got any questions. Hello, Alia, how are you?
Hi, Mr. Yasser, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Fine. I just had a question.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Put right or wrong question.
Yes.
And correct the wrong one.
Yes.
Genes are part of DNA.
Why don't you just say hello first to Mr. Muhammad?
Hi, Mr. Muhammad, of course, sorry.
لا مش مشكلة. How are
It's
you?
okay. All right, go ahead. Well, yeah.
Okay, gene is a part of DNA what?
Found in the cytoplasm of the cell. It's a book question.
No, it's wrong. Completely wrong.
Completely wrong.
Not in cytoplasm. Gene is a part of DNA, exists on the chromosome.
Chromosome.
Yes, not in cytoplasm.
Not the nucleus?
Inside the nucleus.
Okay.
DNA is any chromosome exists inside the nucleus.
Okay.
Okay, as we studied before in the first term in mitosis and meiosis cell division. You have another question, Alia?
No, I want it to be asked.
Okay. For example, give reason for. I will explain it later, but from this point, give reason for we should store the radiation or radioactive wastes in a stable area.
So as not to endanger animals or not to harm humans, and away so that they would be away of volcanoes and earthquakes.
This your answer. To avoid transfer of radiations by earthquake and volcano. In stable, we talk about earthquake and volcano.
And also caves, so that they would be away of caves.
We talk about
animals
what? In caves, we talk about avoid transfer of radiation by.
Excuse me?
In caves. To avoid, we shouldn't store the radioactive waste in the caves.
Yes.
Give reason for.
So that they would be away from the animals which live in caves.
Excellent. To avoid transfer of radiation by animals.
Okay, I have a question for you. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, give reasons for binding the atom's nucleus, although it has a repulsive force.
Excuse me, would you please repeat it again?
I'll say it again. Binding the atom's nucleus, although it has a repulsive force.
I haven't studied this chapter yet.
Okay.
This point is related to the other point in syllabus, but in the previous syllabus in first prep.
So it's not. Okay, so yeah, all right.
Thank you, Ali.
Thank you, Alia. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So, Mr. Muhammad, that reminds me. I want to ask you now about if there has been any, elimination of anything in the syllabus.
No, till now, third prep, any sixth primary and third prep, we have no any part is cancelled from the
Everything
syllabus.
is there.
Completely from the A to Z.
Okay, so let's
From the cover to the cover.
Yeah. Let's now talk about the protection. How to protect ourselves from radiation.
Number one.
Yeah.
أقولهم oral كده عشان أنا عارف we have enough time.
We still have some time, yeah, but do that quickly, please.
Okay. So number one, firstly we should wear protective gloves and suits. هنشوفها فيديو كده بسرعة.
Wear
طبعا heavy protective gloves and suits. Don't exposed to radiation
we can
more
carry
than 5
this part.
rem.
I'm sorry, our time is up.
As Alia asked about 2 questions, give reason. In stable, in a stable area, avoid volcanoes and earthquake, and not in animal caves.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Muhammad Mahmoud. We'll carry on this point, but on our next episode. So I hope you've benefited from this episode, dear students of the 3rd prep grade, and do join us on our Facebook group مدرسة على الهواء ابتدائي وإعدادي. The rerun for this episode will be at 6 a.m. Thank you all for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.